more people to another in Europe. And what I'd like to speak and share with you this afternoon is about what we do with the Vision Impact Institute at ECCSEE. I'd like to share this initiative which has been taken by ECCSEE a few years ago so as to promote the importance of proper correction of vision and to avoid uncorrected refractive errors. So we created ECCSEE, it's fully funded by ECCSEE, an independent organization which is called the Vision Impact Institute, which has a mission, importance of good vision. So what you should know is an estimated 2.5 billion people in the world, 2.5 billion people, so 1/3 of the worldwide population around the world, which is suffer from problems that are left uncorrected, problems of vision. And those people, we should go get them. And we should make them know how important it is for them to correct their vision. And this is a big problem for everybody, everywhere, in all countries. So the facts. The facts are on the screen. Poor vision is a major public health and social issue. You know it for sure because this is why you embrace the profession of eye care professionals. So you know this is something very important. And poor vision is also a major cause of poverty, accidents, moral distress, and social exclusion for those affected. I'm sure you met people that are really suffering from their poor vision and are really getting a new life the day they get correct. It's a huge economic cost in the country, and this has been quantified as a number later on. And this is both for emerging countries and also but for none under the dedicated to a global change. To make people think and understand how important it is to change the situation, including you, and this is what I'm going to do today. We search for advocacy for this global change. We use a global web platform for sharing information and pushing and sharing every statistics we have. We do conduct and support scientific studies. We simplify research by publishing the result of the different research we have, and we support and partners with different associations that are listed here. So these are the different actions we conduct from the Vision Impact Institute, which is US based but also active in many countries, including Europe, of course. So our mission, and we can read it together, is to raise awareness of the importance of healthy vision, including the socio-economic impact of uncorrected refractive errors, and the quality of life benefits of visual correction. So our mission is to push for your mission and support your mission, and we also need your support for pushing what we are doing. This is our mission, is to create awareness about this importance of healthy vision. So our strategy is to give vision a voice. It's our trademark, and become the curator of the relevant evidence of this topic, to engage key opinion leaders and government policy makers worldwide. So we are doing a lot of lobbying with the governments so as to change the laws. I will show you some examples. And to advocate for action everywhere in the world for the healthy vision. You understand our mission? Our mission is really to push what is important for our future. Keys to success. What we want to do is to crystallize the message. using any type of communication vehicles like a website. Website, and I do invite you to come to visit it. It's not translated into Croatian, but it's done in English and already translated in Chinese, Portuguese, and Spanish. We have brochures like the one you got when entering the room in multiple languages. We publish articles. We've got blogs, traditional media, social media. We use any type of communication vehicles for promoting the importance of healthy vision. So what we also do is to simplify research. If you send a big article with full of details, nobody will read it. So we try to simplify it and make it simple to understand. For example, we make people aware of that presbyopia usually begins around the age of 40, because it could be maybe surprising to you, but most of the people don't know that one day they will get presbyopic. They think they are good vision, they will keep it forever. And finally they don't. But they should know in advance that it's normal that around the age of 40 they get presbyopic. We explain also that the exposure to outdoor light can reduce the child's risk of developing myopia. This is mainly for China, where 75% of the population is myopic. So that's important to try to avoid the development of myopia. Or another example is to share the importance of taking care of the vision after the age of 65, because we have numbers showing that people just don't care and don't come to you and don't come to us. So this is the way we simplify research. But giving numbers, statistics, studies is not enough. What you should do is to also humanize the evidence and share some examples, some testimonials of people that did change their life by improving their vision. And the key events that happen in certain countries when some campaigns for healthy vision have been done. This is something we want to do, because statistics, numbers, studies are not enough. You need a kind of a human dimension of it to show and make people understand how it is important to take care of the vision. And we also want to fill the gaps. When we see to fill the gaps is to look at the new research that are missing and try to and which are crucial for this cause, and encourage as a sponsor new research as needed. If some of you have a research topic that could be interested for this cause, you could come to us and we may see if we could support you in terms of communication or even in terms of funding. And we partner with some institute to ensure the validity of our studies. Okay, it's just a big organization, but it is partnering with a lot of different other players. Advocating for the cause. Let's consider a few examples of what we've been doing those last years in the different countries. For example, in Italy, we are in discussion with the government to change the driving policies. You are probably aware that in some countries there is never any eye exam before driving a car, which is very risky. We have a study going on in Czech Republic where we are in touch with the Transportation Department, Ministry, where we do a study what could be the cause, how the vision could be the cause of some accidents. That's something topic very important. Next, for example, in Colombia, we are in touch with the health ministries of health of Colombia. In US, we focus on the mandatory eye exam before kindergarten, for example. In China, it's related to how myopia could affect the development and the learning of the children. That's key. In Brazil, this is with the government. In Mexico, we are partnering around myopia and presbyopia. In India, and we focus on unrefractive errors and skill developments, and we promote the importance of doing these refractions so to make sure that people get some glasses. You see the type of action we conduct just to develop this importance of vision, which is finally creating our activity and our business at the very end. We have an independent advisory board made of people from different countries and different horizons. We have Professor Kevin Frick from the US, more on the business school. Dr. Claire Gilbert, who is an ophthalmologist. Professor from UK. Professor Kevin Naidu coming from Australia. Mr. Arun Bharat Ram from India, and we have the former ambassador of China at the United Nations, the Excellence Wu Jiamin. So people from different areas, they meet several times a year, and they consider the strategy and the objective of that association. So this is the type of actions we conduct. But now we need you. We need your support. We need you to join the movement. And the first thing you can do, and I really ask you to do it, is to subscribe as a member online on the visionimpactinstitute.org website. You've got this address on this document. So please go there, sign in, and make sure that you get the next information we will share, or email we will send, or the next studies we will add to our website. Join us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Add the Vision Impact Institute link to your local website or social channels. Make sure that you are a member of the team, because this is not our team. This is your team too. Because in the future, this is your future. If we advocate for the importance of LC vision, one day you will see customers coming to, or patients coming to your place. And use the infographics and evidence to create positive outcomes. Okay? Use our publications and alert us of any opportunities to support you in your region, and share your successes. And without you, we won't do anything. So we need your support, and we are bringing you also support for bringing new business in the future. So the situation will not change without your help. So join the group, join the action, and let's work together for giving vision a voice. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be at the AC Law booth, or you can, I don't know if you have time for questions now, but probably better later. Next door, there is an AC Law booth, I'll be on it, and we can share if you wish. And if you have any initiatives that could be shared or done together. Thank you very much.
Merci. Monsieur Mela. Naša sljedeća prezentacija je na temu sljedeću. Idemo na sljedeću prezentaciju. Naziv ove... Možemo? Naziv ovog predavanja je tajna privlačenja klijenata i izgradnja odnosa za čitav život. Zvuči mi jako zanimljivo. Čućemo što nam ima o tome reći prezenter, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bo Lauenborg. Take the floor.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, even though that not that many. So I hope that I can give you this presentation. I'm Danish, so I hope that you will understand my Denglish, and even those the girls down in back, I hope they can translate it for them who. And we are 9 up. Is about them, and I have a little yesterday to a small kid. And her mom, and I could see this little kid. Mom, I had to go to the toilet. And the captain, he said, up in front of the toilet, you know, and suddenly she was knocking on the door to the room, to the other toilet, and said, remember to shake it well and wash your hand. And when she was coming down the road, and she saw that the son was sitting next to me, and I saw she was getting a little red in his chins, and I was looking at that door, and she was looking at that door, and out was a businessman coming, and he was taking his do like this, and she went to the stewardess and said, "Thank you very much for a nice service." He will always fly with Star Alliance again, you know. So that's what I mean. How are we keeping the customers? Give them experience, give them some good stuff in our shops. Okay, let's try to continuing. In our practice, we have 20% our business is spectacles, and 80% is contact lenses. So we are doing a lot of contact lenses. So let's go into the what I call the scary numbers. And how are we reducing dropout? When we go into those the reason I'm talking about scary numbers, I will show you later. But first, a little bit of some of the studies we have seen in every year. For 15 to 5,000 dropping out. Where we see how happy do you think your patient are in your contact lenses. Only 30% is saying, I'm totally happy with my product. 70% say, I can feel my contact lenses during the day, and I get some blur when I'm wearing my contact lenses when I'm sitting in front of my computer. So we really have to do something with this here, and especially we need to treat those people to find out what is really the problem they have. Let's look into my numbers, because I thought when I saw this study, I said, that can't be right. We have 819 new patients coming to the practice last year. We fit them with contact lenses, we gave them the service, they went out of the practice with contact lenses. We were using at least 2 hours on those patients. 246 wanted to continue with their lenses. I think that's scary. 70% just disappeared. And if you look at the net income that year, it was 18 new patients. So some of my old patients also was dropping out, just disappearing from the practice. So I think we have a huge problem here. We took 20 of those new patients, look into the journal to find out what's happening. 10 of them never showed up to the first visit, and we gave them an appointment, but they never showed up. So the strategy now is to keep them closer, to make sure that we can call them up after a couple of days, to make sure that the patient will be in our practice again. I think a lot of this here has about training, how we are fitting the contact lenses, but how we train the patient to put the lenses in and take them out again. The e-trade in Denmark is 7 to 9%, so that's very small. The surgery, 2%, that's very small. We're living in Aarhus. It's a town where a lot of young people are living because it's a student place. But anyway, let's try to see what's happening. 21 of our patients are dropping out because they moved their address. And as I said, it's a university town, so people between 25 to 30 is moving away from the town, and we have a lot of dropout in that area. We still have prices too high, we'll have to find another place. 10% is having a break as soon as they just will come back after the break. It can be because of they have a study they need to do a lot of reading in front of the computer, they're not using their contact lenses, they can have illness and other stuff like that. But if you look into the normally market in Denmark, we see that normally it goes down as long as the people getting elder. But in our practice, you can see there is possibility to fit multifocal, to fit monovision, and make those people very happy. And for those of you who come to my presentation tomorrow in the workshop about multifocal, I'll show how we're doing that. But there's a lot of things to do with those patients. kids coming by my opera control, but we have a lot of focus on 45 plus because they really want to pay and they really also want to have a solution. And as you saw before, it's very important for us now to get the mature children back into the praxis. So it's one of the issue now. 40 in our praxis, 38 and 62% is using monovision. It's a very high number, but I'll show you why. We all know that 47% of all people have one astigmatism, and 75 and over that in one eye. In our praxis, 30% are fitted with not multifocal, but toric lenses. So we still have an issue here to use toric multifocal lenses. I'm still waiting for that to be a solution for those. Okay, let's try to look into the dropout here. What is very important is that because we know contact lenses. They can email optometrist and will call praxis. The bank account as well, it's very good. Yeah, it's very important. Never let the patient go. So keep a close relation with the patient, and make sure that the patient are coming back to the praxis. So you are in dialogue. You can use newsletters. You can use your emails. So it's really good to be in a close connection. And again, just for summary, make sure that you're upgrading the patient. Make sure that you really have a good dialogue when you're sitting in the trial room. Find out what is the really problem with the contact lenses. Make sure that you build networking with the manufacturers. Make sure that you really know the product you're selling. So you have to tell the story to your, and you can teach your patient. And again, keep the patient close. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions? I'll be around, and if someone is interested in getting contact with with the people who's doing the program, we can make that as well. Thank you very much.
Tak, Sir Lauenborg. A sada se vraćamo na ono drugo predavanje koje smo preskočili. Prezenterica je u međuvremenu stigla, dakle naziv predavanja je neinvazivna memografija i njezina uloga u liječenju suhog oka. Miss Catherine Chisholm.
Can you hear me at the back? Okay. Right, if I can have my slides up, please. I'm going to talk to you about dry eye management and the particular importance of assessing the meibomian glands, and in particular, how to assess them without being invasive and being uncomfortable for the patient. So we all know that dry eye disease is something that patients tend to think about as being just, I haven't got enough tears, my eyes are feeling uncomfortable and dry, but we know from the Jews report in particular, a very useful resource for us, that it's a lot more complicated than that. We've got discomfort, we've got visual disturbance, and all of these things can be due to a multitude of different problems relating to the tears. It's not one condition, it's many, many conditions with lots of causes. We need to be able to assess our patients and manage them appropriately, and do that by getting to the bottom of what the actual cause is. We cannot treat all dry eye patients the same. And also antimicrobial damage from eye. Of clinical signs diagnose dry eye, looking at the Schirmer test, but it has low reliability unless it's very severe form related to with a slit lamp. We can specialist equipment, slit lamp for staining, using fluorescein and a yellow filter and the blue light, or lissamine green is very good for picking up early staining on the conjunctiva, perhaps rose bengal. We can measure the aberrations of the eye and see how they change in between blinks, and that's very useful for identifying those people that have a significant visual drop as a result of their dry eye. Because if you ask them to blink and read the letter chart, they can read it fine. They can read the bottom line when you've corrected them. But what they're noticing in real life is the drop-off in between blinks. And you can measure contrast sensitivity as another more sensitive measure of vision. We know we've got three main layers to the tear film: the oily layer, the watery layer, the mucus layer. I'm going to concentrate very much here on the meibomian glands producing the oily layer to reduce the evaporation of the tears, and how we would actually assess them. I'm not going to talk about the relatively small proportion of our dry eye patients who have an aqueous deficiency, the most severe form being Sjogren's, such as Venus Williams suffers from. I'm going to talk about the meibomian glands because that is the primary cause of dry eye that we're seeing in optometric practice. The more severe cases of Sjogren's, etc., tend to be seen by the ophthalmologist, but in optometric care with our contact lens patients and our everyday patients, and in particular our aging patients, it's the meibomian glands that are the main problem. I've quoted a study by Lemp showing that 80% of cases are related to meibomian gland problems, but a more recent study suggests it's actually higher at 86%. There are lots of things that we can now do to help our dry eye patients. Previously, we would just give them drops. Now we know we've got to try and get to the bottom of what's causing the problem and then treat them appropriately. We even have options such as LipiFlow to heat up the meibomian glands and open up the orifices and get the oil flowing again. But there's no point in doing that if their meibomian glands have shut down and are no longer existent, or in fact the cause is nothing to do with the meibomian glands. So you've got to choose the therapy that suits the actual cause. The Topcon SLD 701 is a slit lamp that is also available with a camera so that you can record your findings, show the clinical findings to the patient and help with that communication that Bo was just talking about. Very important for them to understand. But it also has an attachment called the BG5, which is an infrared camera that allows you to assess the meibomian glands non-invasively. The slit lamp is undoubtedly the main tool that we will always use for assessing the tear film. So although we have some additional options, all patients are going to have a slit lamp assessment. We're going to be looking at their corneas, at their tear prism. We're going to stain them. So it makes sense to have an option with the slit lamp to be able to assess the meibomian glands. Meibomography is the only technique that allows you to assess them non-invasively. The BG5 is the only non-invasive technique. Otherwise, you are having to hold an instrument, a handheld instrument, against the eyelid. It can be uncomfortable for the patient. They don't like it. It's fiddly. Really, you need to grow a third hand to be able to use it. So it's very useful to have it built into the slit lamp already. And the BG5 was developed by Dr. Reiko Arita, who's a Japanese specialist in dry eye, has a very famous clinic in Japan, specializing in dry eye for many years. So basically, you have an infrared light source, you have an infrared camera, you can photograph what you're seeing, you put up a filter, and it's as simple as that. You just use it as part of your slit lamp routine. You avert the lid, you pull the lower lid down, and you can have a detailed look at the meibomian glands. Now, if we have a video just looking at a relatively normal eye, avert the upper lid, and there you can see the line of the meibomian glands. You can see that they're all open. You can see them coming up to the very edge. None of them have stopped short. They haven't closed down. And it's important to look at that in addition to looking at the openings along the lid margin, because often if the openings look good, you may still not have any meibomian glands there. You can squeeze them and try and get some fluid out, but that's not always very easy to do, and many patients don't like it at all. So a better way of trying to work out whether the meibomian gland is still functioning or not is simply to view it and see if it still exists. And then the MIBO score, which has been derived from these images, shows a very good correlation with the symptoms of dry eye in a number of papers. So here you can see that we've got a good MIBO score with glands. You can see all the little individual bobbly parts of the gland coming all the way up to the opening. Here we've got some look, and you can use a tool to grade the amount of lid that no longer has meibomian glands. We get dropout with age and disease, and we also get dropout with contact lens wear. And here we have a patient with very short meibomian glands and some completely missing meibomian glands. So the amount of lipid produced by these glands will be limited, and they will have dry eye. Once you've got to this sort of stage, these ones can be kept healthy by treatment, but these ones have shut off. There is no hope for these ones. So there's a limited amount you can do, and that's when you start to use supplements that involve a lipid as well as an aqueous solution. So it changes how you manage the patient depending on the status of the meibomian glands. Okay, here's just another few clinical examples. Here we have the nice, relatively straight lines of the meibomian glands in the upper lid. And then we can see some cases where they're less regular. First they become distorted and twist and turn, and then they close down slowly over time as they become damaged. The mechanism is not fully understood, but we know it's very common. And that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Has anybody got any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Chisholm. Na redu je sljedeća tema, sljedeća prezentacija, četvrta po redu. Naziv je lojalnost klijenata, što možete učiniti da ju poboljšate i sredstvo simulacije poslovnog utjecaja. Istraživanje u Ujedinjenom Kraljevstvu, Švedskoj i Njemačkoj, internet prodaja. Mr. Helmer Schweitzer, the floor is yours.
Dobar dan, dobar večer. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for the organizers having me. You already heard my name. Here is my disclosures. I'm speaking today in my role as the president of Eurom Contact, which is the European Contact Lens Industry Association. I'm also the chairman of the European Contact Lens Forum, and I do work for Alcon. The presentation I'm going to give to you has been developed with Professor Gino van Ossel, a very reputed professor in Belgium, and he's specialized in retail and customer loyalty. So we do work with him on this subject. Loyalty. Loyalty is something we like to have. We like to have customers coming back, and therefore it's important to first look what loyalty means. And loyalty means faithfulness and commitments to obligations. There are different levels and different kinds of loyalty, and the one thing is this one, and that's an almost unconditional loyalty. It's called love. If you're a parent, you have a lot of loyalty to your children. Maybe not the inverse, but at least to the children you have a lot of loyalty. I have 2 children, and when they do stupid things, you still cover up and you still try to rescue and you be there whatever happens in the world. That's what's called love, and that's an unconditional loyalty. Then there is conditional loyalty. As long as you give this friend some food, he is very loyal to you. Once you kick his butt and don't feed him anymore, he's gone. He finds a new master who is more loyal to him, and then he's loyal to the master again. So that's a very fluctuating loyalty. And this is another level of loyalty that's quite fluctuating. And I can happily say I'm 28 years married, so I'm pretty loyal. But when I was younger, kind of this age, looks like a teenage, that thing was a bit more fluctuating. So yeah, transitional loyalty, you could call that. So that is something we would like to look at. When it comes to business and commerce, we think about loyalty and cards of loyalty, and it's about similar to what this lady is doing when I'm going to a hotel or going to an airline. They say, which hotel is this? Okay, I look at my 20 hotel cards or airline cards and I give 1 card to them. I'm not changing my habit, or I'm not changing where I go because of the loyalty card I have. I know I have a loyalty card for all of them. It's just a question, do I find it and do I have it with me? But I'm not really influenced in my loyalty to certain hotel chain or airline just because I have a loyalty card. What Bo said is a little bit different. Good service, shaking and washing the hands, is maybe making me loyal for at least some time. But again, this is more of a transitional loyalty. It's not really a full loyalty. So let's talk about contact lens and loyalty in contact lens business. We did some research with the Association of Contact Lens Manufacturers and also our own in Sweden and Germany to repeat that. And when we look at this, where do you usually buy your contact lenses? You will see that there is a relatively low number of internet buyers in the UK, and this is based on consumer research, where there are fairly big numbers in Sweden and in Germany. And that has a reason, and this is something that Bo also mentioned, and I will come back to it. And the reason for this is primarily the subscription system, which is done by the high street or multiple chains. They run a very, very successful way of doing subscriptions in the UK, and that is something we like to look at. So when you look at customer loyalty, Bo has already given you some tips on this, and the thing is, you need to stay in contact with your customer. You need to get email address, phone number, and today email is a relatively low cost and low effort way to reach to many of your customers. You can send out information about, I have just attended a wonderful congress in Croatia called OCCCSEE, and I've learned the latest things about my Mobian gland dysfunction. We're happy to let you come and have a look at your meibomian glands, and we'll tell you if everything is fine. You're optometrist. You can do customized email. Haven't seen you for 8 months buying contact lenses from us. Did you stop? Can we help you? Can we maybe refit you, retrain you? Please let us know how we can help you. It requires, of course, that you do a query. Who have you lost as a customer? Understand who you have lost as a customer. And that's quite important. So launch subscription systems. Here, the important thing is if you include in the subscription system the services, you can split out product and service. You reach the same cost as you have today, but your cost of goods seem to be lower, and therefore you seem to be more competitive to internet. You still make about the same amount of money, but you do it in a different way, and you can calculate this for part-time use on daily disposables, so lots of things to do there. I'm not going too much into the detail. You can grow your subscriptions, and I just give you an example. I have a friend in Berlin, Germany, and she has 500 customers on a subscription system. She charges on average 40 euros per month, and that makes it 20,000 euros a month, and that's 240,000 euros money coming in automatically. I tell her, you are not an optometrist anymore, my dear, you are a bank. Because every month, for sure, 20,000 euros in the pocket, divided by the first of the month and the 15th, that pays for rent and the salaries. Everything else is a nice income. She gets the money up front before she delivers the lenses and the solutions if needed after 3 months or 6 months. So she really is to some degree a bank. So then we need to, of course, understand that we have to sell the need for service. If I want to charge you for the service, I need to create the value for the service. Why would you pay me something if it is for what? So I first have to explain you what I'm going to deliver and what's in it for you and why it is important for you so that you willingly and happily open your purse and give me your money. If I don't give you a good reason to like what I'm offering you as a service, you will always reduce it to just the price. It costed something and I had no idea what for. That should never happen. I got this and this, and it only costed 40 euros. Could have costed a lot more, right? But that's okay. So charge for service. Fitting in Switzerland for simple spherical contact lenses is around 100 to 150 euros. For toric lenses, even more. An aftercare can be between 20 and 60 euros. And it allows you to offer product at a lower price and therefore be competitive. Now, you may think, whew, I'm in Croatia and nobody starts charging for service. Can take Germany as an example. A lot of optic shops in Germany don't charge for refraction or fitting of contact lenses. So when I propose these things, the first reaction from the audience is, if I charge, I'm going to lose a customer. And yes, you may lose the one or other customer, rightly. But guess what? Maybe you can afford to lose a customer. If you have customers that want everything for free and are not willing to recognize the time you spent with them and the quality of time, you may as well say, go and buy somewhere else. I take the time I spent with you and I rather give excellent service to this gentleman because he is appreciating it and he is giving me the money for it. And you can actually lose up to 20-30% of your customers and still make the same amount of profit. And you get good customers, not the ones that change shops just because of a different offer. What Genofan also said, you have to make the process simple and enrich, create value. You have to make the interaction of the customer with the shop very simple. It has to be easy, it has to be convenient. Then you do an orientation phase. People say, how is the website looking? How is it to make an appointment? What kind of information do I get? How is the purchase? In this case, you can say the fitting, the first purchase process, and how is my after sales? Those of you who listen very well to Bo, he is doing a superb job on the after sales. He is making sure once he has the cat in his house, the cat is not leaving the house anymore. You know, he's feeding information against loyalty. And the people come and they're happy. And that's important. So, how often do customers believe they should have a checkup? They know it. Once a year at least, or every 6 months. If you add this up, that's a lot of people. They already know eyes need aftercare. So sell it, ask for it, demand for it. How likely are you to return to your optician for the next checkup? A very high likelihood if you add these two numbers together. 60% in the UK because it's part of the subscription. We are, as human beings, behavioral people. We like not to change things. So once in your habit, you go where you go. I go to my dentist every 6 months. And it's a habit. And I'm not going to change it. And so you can create a habit in your shop too. And that works. So believe me, it's something very important. Likelihood to return to the next optician for this purchase. Again, if you add these two numbers together, you are similar between the UK and Sweden, but a very high because of the subscriptions number in the UK. So when we talk about the future, we talk about possibility for change. You will not change what happened in the past, but you can positively influence the future. So if you think about the future, you think about change. You have to change because the world around you is changing. And if you don't change as well, you're going to lose customers and you're going to lose business anyhow. So why a simulation tool? That's the topic of this talk as well. Because you do make big decisions. Shall I charge fee or shall I not charge fee? And it's a good thing if you can enter these things into a what-if simulation tool. And we have developed a web app, and it's on this address, and you can get this address from me later on if you want to. And you get to this page here, and then you enter your euro or any other information, dollar, pound, or Swiss franc, whatever your currency. We don't have kuna, but you can enter euro, doesn't matter. It's just a number in front. You can still enter kunas, but you have to remember you entered kunas, not the euro. And then you go and you add information about your business, how is your turnover, etc. Very simple numbers. You have to collect those, of course. And then we go, here are buttons on the upper part, buttons on the lower part. You go to the next question, or you have other options here. And once you entered, you say, okay. So here is the count of how many questions you have answered, and then your current loyalty score. When you press on this upper left part, you get possibility to jump immediately to certain questions. When you press on the upper right part, you get the graphic of your current business and the plan if you change something like adding subscriptions to your system. Here you can have answers in the form of a slider instead of a number, but you can also put in the percentage if you like. So then we go, for example, in this one here, and in the end you get to the results. And when you press the results, you get graphics, you get tables, and then you can have this one sent to you via email. And when it comes to you, you get this kind of graphics as a PDF. And that's a very nice way to look at the results of these kind of studies. So here is a way, on graphical way again. Here is a table format. And this comes to you in the format of an email, here as a PDF, and then you open it and you get quite a bit of text explaining it. You get tables, you get graphics, here we go, and that is what you can do with the simulation tool. So use this kind of thing that we provide as Urim Contact, play through scenarios, and then find out to what degree you should change and what you should possibly change in order to increase your loyalty. We understand that you will play very strange things. You will say, what if I charge 0 for the contact lens and 1,000 euros for my service? You can do this on this simulation. You cannot do this in your shop. But please, if you feel free to do this, do it. It's just not really a good assumption. You can do the opposite. What if I double the money for my products and I charge 0 for the service? Whatever you do, you can play scenarios and you can improve your business. Gino and I, we think you can do it. You can change, you can improve, you can increase the loyalty of your customers, but you have to take action. Loyalty doesn't come for free. Even in marriage and with the children, it's good to sometimes invest in the relationship. And if you invest in the relationship, you have the right to receive something back. Nothing comes for free in life. No love, no loyalty, no money, no happiness. You can do it. Thank you very much.
Dankeschön, Herr Schweitzer. Ostalo nam je još jedno predavanje,
Thank you.
posljednje, internet stvari o optometriji. Ne znam je li nam se pridružila u međuvremenu gospođa Anna Nagel. We are looking for Miss Anna Nagel. Is she here? Vjerojatno malo kasnije, pričekat ćemo par minuta, vrijeme za diskusiju će biti, čini mi se, za 10 minuta treba početi, trajaće 10 minuta, onda krećemo dalje s radionicama. Hvala vam. Yes, she's in a room. She's somewhere. Dakle, hvala vam lijepa. All of you were excellent. Thank you very much. Hvala vama, vidimo se za 10 minuta na diskusiji.
changing will do in future. We had this not in our discussion now in terms of talking about the future of optometry, but I am sure that the standard things are done by digitalizations. And so I start my speech. Is it okay from the sound? I start my speech with Internet of Things, and then I continue what's going on for optometry. Internet of Things. Everything is connected. Internet of Things means everything is connected and things are talking with each other, sensors and built-in intelligence. This is in general Internet of Things. And what does it mean? In former times, many optometry shops still are not in the picture. They are out of the picture from your side on the left-hand side. It's one shop or one optometry practice. And then there was the way that it's called multi-channel, offline, online information, offline shopping. 2 years ago I did a workshop with Carl Zeiss Vision and I was I'm teaching in the bachelor degree Internet of Things. We in Aalen, at Aalen University, we not only have optometry, we also have a bachelor program with you see here, you see apps, you see Internet of Things, and now we are talking about digital products and digital services, and in, where we are talking, where we're doing a lot of research right now. And it's said right now, talking with each other, which are digitalization, that that cars are driving autonomously. We have experience with autopilot. Autopilot, if one pilot is in charge, he can decide in case of emergency. This is the system of autopilot. What does it mean for autonomous driving? In normal case, Audi is doing a lot of publications now, advertisements that dad is working, drinking coffee in the car and the kid is sitting on the driver's seat because the car